Sekiro might have the highest skill floor and skill ceiling when compared to the Souls games. After playing the game for a good chunk of time, I've compiled a few things that could help you out. Sekiro rewards precision and timing when it comes to deflections, but the timing isn't too strict. First, talk to this guy in the dilapidated temple and just practice deflecting and other training regimens. Get used to this first, then move on to the real enemies. Once you get the hang of it, learning new patterns isn't too difficult, but until then, patiently observe the enemy's attack pattern. Holding block isn't ideal, but doing it just to learn the moveset isn't bad. Dash and jump to avoid attacks to get a feel for them. But this is just the learning process. Once you're comfortable, move on to deflecting. Don't worry, you won't be doing this slow process of learning for long since you get used to it in a few hours. Unlock the Mikiri counter from the skill tree as soon as possible since a lot of bosses use thrust attacks. The timing on the Mikiri counter is more generous when compared to the normal deflect, so it's just free posture damage. Again, you need to learn the moveset of the enemy to expect thrust attacks, and that comes with practice. When you're up against an enemy with a huge posture bar, you deflect his attacks, but a few seconds later his posture just recovers at an astounding rate. By the way, posture is this yellow/orange bar, and the small red one on the side is the health bar. When the posture meter fills up, you get a red dot, and if you press R1, you get a death blow. On the top left, some enemies have a few diamonds above their health bars. These diamonds denote the number of death blows it takes to finish an enemy. Usually mini-bosses have 2 diamonds, which means you need to perform 2 death blows to kill them. Now the interesting thing is that as you bring your foe's health down, their posture recovery slows down. Ideally you should simultaneously deflect and attack them to reduce their health, but chipping away at their health first is also a great idea. Oh, and the same rules apply to you as well, so heal up whenever you can. Sometimes it's not just the boss that gives you trouble, it's also the area and the basic enemies. To have a better time, use the game mechanics to the fullest potential. When you see a lot of enemies, use your grappling hook and get to high ground. In most games you have a minimap which lets you see enemy patrol paths and their locations. But in Sekiro it's even better. Because of your mobility and the grappling hook, you can get to high places and get a top-down view of the area in most cases. Here you can see most of the enemies. All enemies either stand still or follow a static patrol path. Eavesdropping helps tremendously as well. Use this knowledge to your advantage and get a few stealth kills to get a leg up. Remember that stealth games aren't about being stealthy, but being able to understand and exploit the enemy AI. You can weave in and out of stealth and fight a few isolated enemies as well. Once you're used to the combat, you can just go guns blazing and be just fine. But take out archers and gunmen first if you're doing this. Dragon rot is a disease that spreads among people who are familiar with you. After a fixed amount of deaths, they are afflicted with this. The usual symptoms are coughing and wheezing, but you also get a pop-up whenever this happens. As soon as you get this message, go talk to Emma and she'll ask you to get the blood of some NPC who's afflicted with dragon rot. Oh, and this is only for the first time you discover dragon rot. It's not for every NPC. Do this and you get an item that cures everybody suffering from dragon rot. You can buy and find these items as the game progresses, so don't worry too much about it. Regarding the timing, don't use it when you're up against a boss who's giving you a hard time, since more NPCs could potentially be afflicted with dragon rot. As far as I'm aware, NPCs cannot die from this, but I've heard that you can't proceed with their quest line unless you cure it. I also think the same NPC cannot be afflicted with dragon rot multiple times, so there's that. All in all, not a huge deal, but heal it when you can. Explore as much as you can. Sekiro rewards exploration by giving you god seeds, prayer beads, upgrade materials and prosthetic tools. Give the god seeds to Emma. This will increase the number of healing charges you have. For every 4 player beads obtained, you can increase your health and posture. Upgrade materials don't just increase the damage of your prosthetic tools, but add new moves to it as well. Lastly, prosthetic tools offer some dirty moves you can pull off. For example, the flame vent trivializes the chained ogre early on, and the loaded axe offers an efficient way to take out shield enemies. They're also pretty fun to play around with, and they offer a ton of versatility. Oh, and don't forget to hold square after you kill all of your enemies, because gold automatically doesn't come to you and it's a very easy thing to forget. Those are some of the many things that could ease your journey into Sekiro. There are many ways to tackle a situation, so go with what works with you. Hopefully this helped a little to make you have more fun with the game.